Good morning everyone and welcome to my channel English Literature. Today we are here with the background of Renaissance, and according to our plan, it is the third video on Renaissance. Here we will discuss about the things, the incidents are happening on history that accelerated the growth and development of Renaissance in Europe. And now these things that Renaissance did not came in day or overnight. Actually, it was a gradual shifting of people's thought. That medieval stagnation, the consolidated stagnation, or what to say, that unquestioning mind of people that did not look beyond their common phenomena, just started questioning the happenings. Why? And where, and they started observing everything with new interest. They did not want to be confined within their limited circulation. So these things was happening and preparing the ground for Renaissance. The first and most important of this is the Reformation. Reformation means reform of religion, questioning the monopoly of church. Till then what happened? Church was the only authority, and church can control and dictate and subjugate everything, people's mind to people's activities. But this monopoly of church was questioned and just discarded by people. They started thinking beyond it. They started questioning the church authorities and church corruption. And when power just accumulate in one place, it gives birth to corruption, and that happens with the church. Church, being the supreme authority of power, became the breeding ground of corruption, and people, various theologians, literary persons and intellectuals, they started questioning this corruption of church. It was not an easy process. People have to die for that. People have to put on the charge of heresy, and they are burned in the stake, or their tongue are cut down, and various severe methods of crackdowns were on them. But they did not stop. And among them there are the major important names, that John Wycliffe. John Wycliffe is a significant name in church reformation, and actually John Wycliffe of England, he just paved the way for further Protestant movement. And in Protestant movement we find his name of Martin Luther, and he is the most significant character in Protestant movement, and the sect he populated, that is called Lutheranism. And John Wycliffe, Lollard movement. Now Luther just protested against church monopoly and church services, church corrupted practices, and he in 1517 he just submitted his 95 thesis against church monopoly, church corruption, questioning the church atrocities, church practices. And now John Calvin. These people, there are John Huss also, and these people just stirred the medieval periods, atrocities and monopoly of church. They questioned, and following them there came several others who are inspired by their theologies and their practices, their doctrines. Okay, so this reformation in religion also add something new in the Renaissance mind and Renaissance period. Now the second factor, that is the fall of old feudal system. So feudal system was the primary social structure of medieval England. From the Norman conquest till onwards, feudalism was the main social structure. But with the gradual increasing of population, economical change, the feudal system was gradually waning out during the 12th to 13th century. This time feudalism was gradually waning out, and you can see the structure of feudalism here. The king was the supreme authority, and then there is a clergyman and nobles, and after them there is knights and peasants. This structure was prominent and dominant till 1200 AD, but after that gradually this structure was um, collapsing away, and a new class of people, that is known as middle class people, middle class society, was emerging out of this feudal system. Translation of Bible. It is very important for Renaissance period that translation of not only Bible but translation in vernacular language. Different literatures and religious books, sermons, that all are getting translated into vernacular language. And what was the result of it? Till then, language, literature, Bible, whatever it was in Latin, and it was far beyond the reach of common people. But when the translation started in the hand of John Wycliffe, Martin Luther, they, beyond their preaching and beyond their Protestantism, they also give emphasis in translating and printing. And translation, they feel the main point that people must know the truth. Knowledge must be circulated and truth must be known to all. So in this way, they give emphasis in translating the books in vernacular language. So it became more accessible for common people. Common people can read them and understand them. They don't more, they have to depend on the church authorities for the explanation of Bible. They themselves can understand them by reading them in vernacular language. And now printing press, actually it is just revolution in accelerating the progress of Renaissance. Printing press, what happened due to printing press? Gutenberg's printing press in Europe and then Caxton in England. Just due to printing press, the ideas, the thoughts, the new ideas, new thoughts, books get printed and people can get it easily and it can be circulated among more people. What happened before printing press? Most of the people do not know about what is written in there because they cannot get it. After printing, various copies were printed and so it was become very accessible for common people to get them, and it just add the most part of the fuel in Renaissance, because Renaissance is the regeneration, rebirth of classical literature, and if people cannot read them, how they will be flourished in their thoughts and activities. So people read them, people get the scope of reading them. Now the next point is setting up of universities, and in this period, the medieval time, it was actually the preparation ground in one way. Two main universities, that is Oxford and Cambridge, were set up, and it just became the center. At first they were set up with the thinking that for discussing religious themes, but later it became intellectual platforms that people can talk about various things and discuss. Now, inclination for classical literature. Due to printing press, classical literature, classical books were getting printed and people started reading them, and people get interested in the theological and philosophical thoughts of Aristotle, Plato and Roman and Greek scholars. They feel interested and they started putting their example, their theories in their writing and their thought. New trends in art, literature and architect. In this period, we find there is something new in art, literature and architect. Till then, art was just for painting, something fixed, rigid, the picture of saints, church, etc. But due to Renaissance and this time, people just shifted from their conventional way of painting. People give more emphasis on practical living, practical human beings. Living beings, people's emphasis given living being. They started portraying the living beings. Whatever they observed, observation became the powerful weapon for painters and also the architects also. Whatever they observed, they just tried to present them in their art, maybe painting or in architecture or literature also. So, exploration, that is the another theme. You can see in this picture, these pictures are all related to human beings, and although there are the gods and goddesses, but the gods and goddesses are not shown as something frigid or rigid type. They are actually framed in the model of human beings. So this shifting of thought in art and painting, that was a miraculous invention of Renaissance. Exploration, you can say this background you can say also these points in effect of Renaissance. Actually, what happened? This changing were happening in Renaissance, and they were the causes of Renaissance, and they are also the effect of Renaissance. Maybe it sounds ambiguous, but it is a true, because with the exploration, people started exploring different countries, and they came out from the cocoon of their own country and started going throughout the various countries and discovering them. This broadens their minds, and this broadens the Renaissance spirit, and it happens for Renaissance, and Renaissance happens for it. So you can understand this, that people's changing of people's mind, their scholastic ideas, their consolidated thought that's changed from the medieval stagnation, and this changing of thought was due to exploration, and again due to this exploration, Renaissance caused, and Renaissance also give birth to various new exploration. So this backdrop and effect are correlated and coexisted. So these things just accelerated the growth of Renaissance, and again Renaissance gave birth to new ideas, new thoughts, and more popularity, more progress in this thing. So in our next video we will discuss another feature, another aspect regarding Renaissance, and in this way, step by step, we will gradually cover this Renaissance period. And sometimes you can feel that they are overlapping, their same thing is discussing again and again, but if the division is remain clear, then you can understand the distinction and differences of different criteria of Renaissance, and that's why I just divided in so many multiple forms, and I feel that we can discuss this from different angles, different perspective. They may seem interrelated, overlapping, but they are the different perspective of Renaissance, and we must focus this Renaissance period from more broader perspective, more broader point of view. Okay, so bye, have a good day.